Today on Mad Electrician, we're going to be taking a look at the all-new Anker SOLIX F3800, one of the most accessible and best all-around home backup power systems out there. This thing is awesome, and unfortunately it took a pretty severe storm for my wife and I to realize why having something like this is so important. With the ice storms this last January, my family and I were stuck at home for almost a week, with the temperatures outside well below freezing. Family and friends all around us were losing power, and we had no idea whether or not we would be next. Losing power for an hour or two in normal conditions is no big deal, but when the power is out for days on end because of an ice storm, that can be a much more serious problem. It really got my wife and I wishing that we had put more consideration and planning into having a way to restore power in case of an outage. And that brings us to today's video. The power solution package that we were able to get, thanks to the good people at Anker, is one that includes the Anker SOLIX F3800, along with a Reliance Controls transfer switch and a 50 amp generator hookup cable. Now before I show you this all hooked up to the transfer switch and backing up my house, first I want to tell you about some of the incredible features that this thing has. The Anker SOLIX F3800 has a whopping 3,840 watt hours of battery capacity, giving you a full day's worth of home backup power during blackout conditions. If you wanted even more capacity though, you can get up to 6 additional expansion batteries. And with the 6 expansion batteries, it's capable of achieving 26.9 kilowatt hours of battery capacity, giving you a full week's worth of backup power. The batteries used are lithium iron phosphate batteries, which are some of the safest kinds of batteries that are used in these portable power station devices. The batteries are built to last 3,000 charge cycles, which means that even if you used this thing every single day, it would still last you 10 years, which in my opinion is pretty incredible. Now, this has a bidirectional pure sine wave inverter that supports 6,000 watts of power with a 120 and 240 dual voltage output. This is huge because while most power stations typically require 2 separate units to achieve 240 volts, this is capable of achieving 240 with just one single unit. Now, while this is capable of achieving 240 volts with just one single unit, if you pair 2 units together using this home power port, you can actually achieve 12,000 watts of power output. And of course, if you wanted to get the 6 available expansion batteries for the second unit, you would be able to fully back up your house for 2 weeks without recharging. To charge the Anker SOLIX F3800, you do have a couple of options. You can use the AC input port to charge it with 120 power at anywhere from 200 to 1800 watts. The higher the wattage, the faster it will charge. If you wanted to change the wattage that it charges at, you can do so by using the Anker app, which connects to the unit using Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. Speaking of the app, it gives you a lot of great information that you can use to monitor and control your Anker SOLIX F3800 while you're at home or away. Now, obviously, if you're charging this using 120 power, you're gonna have to do so before experiencing a power outage. But if you do need to charge this during a power outage, you can do so by using the dual solar inputs. The 2 low voltage XT60 ports allow up to 1,200 watts each, giving you a total of 2,400 watts of charging power. You can use your own solar panels, or you can get the solar panels from Anker as a standalone purchase or as a package deal with the Anker SOLIX F3800. This will fully recharge in 2.4 hours with 120 volt power and 1.8 hours using solar power, providing you're charging at the max allowable wattage for each. The solar charging option makes this a simple and sustainable replacement for gas generators. And compared to a gas generator, it is much more quiet. I mean, it's practically silent. And you don't have to worry about the smell of gas or breathing in harmful fumes. Now, no gas or loud noises means that you can use this thing pretty much anywhere. This opens up the possibility of home backup power to people who wouldn't otherwise have any other options, like people who live in condos or other similar places. And while we're on the topic of being able to use this thing pretty much anywhere, this thing is actually extremely portable. While it does weigh just over 132 pounds, Anker built in some features that makes it actually pretty easy to move around. In addition to the large wheels in the back that make it easy to move over rough surfaces and the locking caster style wheels in the front, this has a handle that pops up, much like a suitcase, making it very easy to wheel around. And if you're in a situation where you need to lift it up, there's a hidden handle at the bottom that makes this task much safer and easier. Looking at the Anker SOLIX F3800 from the front, you have a nice LCD display that tells you all kinds of important information. You also have the power button, a display button, a Bluetooth button for connecting the phone to the unit, and a car socket button, which is used for turning on and off the car charging style ports. Additionally, you have 3 USB Type-C outlets and 2 USB-A outlets. On the right side, you have all of your AC outlets. On top, you have a NEMA 1450 outlet and an L1430R. While the NEMA 1450 is technically a 50 amp outlet, the Anker SOLIX F3800's inverter will only support 6,000 watts, limiting you to 25 amps. The NEMA 1450 outlet can be used for charging your EV in an emergency situation to give yourself some extra miles, all with no additional grounding accessories needed. And both of these outlets can be used to power everything in your RV, giving you peace of mind whether you're on vacation or just simply surviving. Next, you have 6 120 volt 20 amp outlets. Of these 6 outlets, the 3 on the left can be used in the UPS mode. You also have the AC power button, which turns this part of the unit on and off, and you also have 2 overcharge protection reset buttons. So here's the transfer switch that Anker included in the package that I got. Unless you want to change out any of the pre-installed circuit breakers, it comes with everything you'll need to install it. And here's the transfer switch fully installed. I've got to say, as an electrician, this is a very high quality transfer switch, and the installation process was very straightforward, quick, and easy. Now, being limited to 10 circuits, which is actually more than many other transfer switches offer, I had to decide which loads were going to be the most important to me during a power outage. In about a week after posting this video, I will be posting a separate installation video where I go over every single step that it took me to install the transfer switch. And once I have that video uploaded, I'll include it in the description of this video. All right, so let's get the Anker SOLIX F3800 plugged in and backing up my house. All right, so right now everything is set to line on my transfer switch, which means that everything is being fed out of my panel. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is shut off my main circuit breaker to simulate a power outage, and then we're gonna switch everything over to the generator, which is going to have the Anker SOLIX F3800 back up my house. So let's go ahead and simulate an outage and see how this does. Power out. Oh, we got power again. And we are in business. Let's go check out the house. We got lights on in the garage. All right, and we are inside the house. And I gotta say, this is a wild feeling seeing my house have power when the panel is shut off. This is exactly what it would be like during a real power outage. And you can't even tell. As you can see, the fridge still has power and is running like a champ. And we do have heat going, one of the most important things in my opinion during a power outage. Lights are still working. Let's come over here and try this light. Oh yeah, beautiful. Bathroom lights, hallway lights. Got my water heater on for hot water during an outage, and also this little closet light. Now, I was only allowed 10 circuits in my transfer switch, so my oven is one of the things that I do not currently have being backed up. But as you can see, with everything on in the house as it normally would be, we got 4 hours and 42 minutes of power remaining, which really isn't bad considering the fact that everything is just on like it normally would be. TV, lights, tons of stuff upstairs, the refrigerator, and so on. However, in an actual power outage, you definitely wouldn't have everything on all the time. You would try to conserve power by shutting things off and then only turning it on when you really need it on. But let's go ahead and push this thing to the limits and see what it is capable of. Let's go ahead and turn the microwave on. And we did have a slight flicker on the lights. They got a little dimmer, but not much. And we are pulling 2,233 watts of power at the moment. Remember, 6,000 is what this thing is capable of on its own. So we got a ways to go. Let's go ahead and add some more time to this. And I don't know, let's maybe go to the coffee maker, get this thing turned on. Okay. Turning it on obviously didn't do much, but maybe we'll go ahead and make a latte. Right, so I had to take a slight break because my microphone battery died, but let's go ahead and test out the toaster. See how this does. 1500 watts, no big deal. Let's go ahead and turn on the microwave at the same time. Okay, we're up to 3000. We are going strong. Should we turn on the crock pot? $3,300. Should we act like I'm steaming some milk? Like I'm making a latte? Let's see how that does. Oh yeah. Oh, and that was enough to send it over the edge. I'm gonna go ahead and reset this by pressing the AC button. And we are back in business. So am I surprised that the Anker SOLIX F3800 wasn't able to power all of this at the same time? Honestly, not really, because that is a lot of load that I just put on that unit all at one time. Remember, it's capable of 6,000 watts with one unit, and if there's two, it is capable of 12,000 watts. But this thing really fought and it powered a lot of stuff before it finally died. Being conservative with what I choose to back up power to during a power outage, I could definitely see how I could get a full day's worth of battery backup out of the Anker SOLIX F3800. All right, so all in all, I gotta say that I'm really impressed with what the Anker SOLIX F3800 can do. I honestly just have so much more peace of mind knowing that the next time that we experience a power outage, we're gonna be covered. I would highly recommend picking up one of these bad boys, and you can do so by clicking on the link in the description of this video. Anker is having some really killer deals on this, so definitely make sure that you check this out, especially with their bundles. If you want to save some money and get everything that you need, you definitely want to check these out. And in March of 2024, Anker is also going to be releasing their new home power panel, which will help you maximize your power experience through minimal setup. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for that transfer switch video and make sure that you're subscribed to me so that way you don't miss any content from me in the future. Thanks for watching and have a good one.